Hello wonderful people, welcome to another powerful episode on cultures and tradition brought to you by Studio 77. This is a weekly show that takes you across borders and beliefs, and we dive deep into rich, fascinating and sometimes shocking practices around the world that shape how people believe, they think and worship. I'm your host TKD, and today we are going to a very important culture in India that is shocking and bizarre, and that is the Aghorism. So who are the Aghoris? The Aghoris are a small but very deeply spiritual sect of Hinduism in India, and they are known for their cremation ground rituals, their ash smear body, and their bold defense of purity norms. So who are the Aghoris? Like I said earlier, they are a small sect but spiritually intense set of Hinduism. They are worshippers of Lord Shiva. That means they practice Shaivism. These people, unlike the normal culture, that they worship Shiva in the most peaceful and meditating way, these people, they worship him in the fierce form of Bhairava, meaning that this Bhairava is the most fierce and destructive servant of Shiva. It destroys egos, illusion and attachment. So today we talk about who are the Aghoris. What does their ritual mean? Why did they live in dead places? And more importantly, we shine light on how their practices shows the deep cultural practices of India and their philosophy about life. So let's get started. Who are the Aghoris? You see, the Aghoris are a small but spiritually intense sect of Shaivism. That means the worshipper of Lord Shiva, and one of the principal deities in Hinduism. But the Aghoris does not worship Shiva in the most peaceful and meditative way. They worship him in the form of Bhairavani. The Bhairavani is one of the aspects of Shiva that is fierce and destructive. One of the parts is that the Bhairavani destroys ego, illusion and attachment. That's one of those things that they worship him. You see, unlike the mainstream Hinduism practices that pay attention on cleanliness, orderliness, ritual purity, the Aghoris, they define it through impurity. They believe that God is everywhere, and the fact that they can face this thing, which means that they can face their faith. You see, these people, they meditate in cremation ground, they put ash of dead people on their faces, and they even eat bodily remains of their people. They believe that this helps them to face their fear, their ego and attachment. So you see, it is a radical way of thinking, but it's a counterculture shock, like a counterculture tradition of the way things are done around the world, and that has helped them over the years, I believe, to become who they are. So what about their shocking ritual? You see the rituals of the Aghoris are controversial, because many people believe that it is somehow it's bizarre, but both in the world and around the world, people like, both in India and around the world, people like, it is so much more. And for example, they live in cremation grounds. That means they're surrounded by graves. That's where they live in. They consume human flesh, but all up, not the way, not in the form of cannibalism. They consume human flesh by burning their dead bodies, and the burnt remains, they eat it. They use skulls and bones of people that died for rituals, part of the tombs in the temples, and so many more. And they smell ashes of bodies on their own. You see, they even do taboo breaking rituals like sexual acts in cremation ground, and that is somehow. And they believe that symbolizes their attachment from shame, from guilt and duality, in their own opinion. You see, to the outside world, this sounds terrifying, even to me that I'm saying it. But to the Aghoris, each ritual is like a spiritual challenge which helps them to defy the norms around us. The purity. I told you that the Aghoris, they defy the purity, like the purity, the norms of purity. They don't believe in it. Let me say that they don't believe in the norms of the purity. They defy it. They let you know that if it's this way, they want to go there another way. They want to try to be different. And you see, to them, it's like culture in its untamed form. It is untamed. It's about you questioning the norms and the way it is done. So how does this culture fit into this age? Because the Aghoris are known to be different parts of India, and they're like going into, let me not say extinct, because even people from India, other people that worship other gods, look at them with fleas and they feel like they are bad. You kind of say they don't really rate them like that. You see, India is a land of spiritual like controversies. There are people that are built in gold, some people they live in caves, where daily ritual include both sacred bathing and reverence for the dead. You see, the Aghori culture is on the fringe of this culture, because it is not outside. It tells India their former past. Like it reminds them of their foundation, of where they are coming from, and where they are currently. Many people does not like the Aghoris in India. Be like, oh, they are this, but like I believe that the Aghoris show them what the reason why India was in the first place. They talk about Lord Shiva. They talk about so many people. Like they are like a cultural mirror of the mainstream culture. Like they are like, they show the former and they show the new, because the Aghoris, they stay in the former part of worshiping Lord Shiva, while the modern culture, like India cultures, they are pure. They are trying to control, try to follow the way of the world and so many things. But more than that, you see, worldwide the Aghoris are misunderstood. I believe so, because when I do my research, I feel like they are misunderstood, because many Indians look at them with fear and with disgust. They are often seen as mentally unstable and dangerous, and that's because many criminals they pretend to be an Aghori so that they can escape their crime. You get? So that means, many people are trying to use their image to go against them, but the true Aghoris, they are disciplined. Like they are really, really disciplined. They take vows of celibacy, they meditate, they renunciate. They don't care about fame or followers. That is the real Aghoris. You see, their tradition survives quietly, and they passed from their guru to their disciples in remote corners of India. It's like a living cultural thread, and one that corrects modern norms of India's sect and so many things. You see, you might be asking me that, oh, what can I learn from the Aghoris as an average person? You see, a lot actually, because the Aghoris, they defy the norms. They face their fears. Because even though we can't meditate on cups like we do, or we can't live in a dirty environment, or we can't do this, but we can face our own fears, insecurities, taboos. You see, the Aghoris believe that them living among the dead, drinking from their skull, make them to defy the odd, so they cannot be scared. That's what they believe in. And even as an average person, I believe that we can draw the fact that many of us live with our fears. We live with fears, taboos, insecurities. And if we like the Aghoris can face them head on, because the Aghoris, they defy fear, ego, illusions, like so many things. Because the Aghoris teach us that things that we are afraid of, whether emotional, psychological, or spiritual, is often the part of transformation. You see, this culture may be bizarre, it may be rooted in truths, as we all recognize, but sometimes the only way out is through the tough, it's through the grief, through the fear, through the things we have been taught to avoid. The Aghoris is just not like a cultural sect. It's more about them like facing the norms. For example, they believe that God is everywhere. They believe that God also exists in the fleet, in the unclean places. Because tell me, why will you take the skull of a person and use it to drink? Because that's somehow. But they're trying to face their fears, trying to let us know that death is not the end of life. That the body is just a dust. They put the ashes of the other people on their head. They live among them, they meditate on them, and so many things. And the Aghoris are not just about, oh, we want to become famous. They are strict. They are like they are disciplined. They don't even try to show who they are. But it is just modern culture that brought like to their face. They are into into like free properties of India. They don't even show who they are. And I know you might not have heard of these people, but they exist. And many of them still live in the deep part of India. They still maintain their culture, they still maintain who they are and what they do. And you know, when I was going through their history over there, so that they have tried to maintain the test of time, even with the new religions around them, new temples, so many times they try to stay true to their Lord Shiva, and they try to maintain serving him in the impure format, because they try to defy the odd. And as human, I feel like this, because culture is more than custom, it is a way of life. It is deeply rooted in you passing as permission to people on what they should do. It's more about you trying to learn that, oh, we can, because the Aghoris, they defy the norms. They believe in impurity. They believe in the fact that God is even in the fleet. Even the people that destroy the wrong practice, they believe that they are there. They try to face the fear, defy the norms, and so many things on. As we wrap up today's dive into one of the most extreme tradition, I want to really say gentle challenge. What's impurity or fear have you been avoiding in your life or community? And what could change if you face it head on, or even embrace it? Culture is not just about custom, it's about the meaning behind them. And the Aghori tradition, as shocking as it is, about freedom, acceptance, and courage. And this brings us to the end of today's dive into cultures and tradition. We have explored the deep yet shocking tradition of the Aghoris of India, and more than it leaving you to be curious, I want you to leave you think about what this tradition can do for you, and how it can help you. And from bizarre to beautiful, that is it on cultures and tradition. And I'm your host, TKD. And until next time, stay curious about the world and the many ways that humans seek to find meaning to it. Thank you.